My first emotion was being violated. Second was laughing so hard I nearly choked on garlic bread. Third was a weird, sinking, cinematic horror feeling like I'd walked into the wrong movie halfway through. Harmony tried to explain, "We do it because we love you." It started out as a joke. "Mom is good at organizing. We just want to help each other be better." Dolores nodded like she'd discovered the cure for bad husbands. Jocelyn added, "We do it for accountability." Tessa piped in, "It helped me with Marcus." Marcus was Tessa's ex. Marcus had, apparently, not enjoyed the treatment plan. I left the dinner early. I needed air and distance and an emergency friend consultation. That night I got 67 texts from Harmony ranging from "You're overreacting" to "This is how healthy families communicate" to "Are you really going to throw away 3 years over this?" Answer, yes. Yes, I was going to. But also, I slept about 90 minutes and thought of an alternative plan that felt like sanity adjacent. Update, I proposed honesty, with boundaries. If they loved transparency so much, then transparency should be mutual. I texted Harmony, "Transparency is important. I booked a couples therapy session for Thursday. Bring your mom and sisters, they are stakeholders." She called instantly, "Oh thank God. I knew you'd understand once you calmed down." She sounded relieved. I hoped that meant she'd see how creepy this was. Thursday came. I found Dr. Reeves, a therapist who specialized in family enmeshment and boundary issues. Yes, I called 3, no I did not pick the cheapest. I paid extra for an extended intake because I was prepared to air the whole circus in front of a neutral professional. Harmony arrived, with her whole crew. They walked in like they were here to onboard a new employee. Jocelyn had a tablet. Tessa clutched tissues like a prop. Dolores was beaming. They opened with pride. "We're very close. We support each other. We have a system." They showed the spreadsheets. Jocelyn pulled up a pie chart of my improvement areas. Dr. Reeves' face became the most poker-faced thing I'd ever seen, which was reassuring. Dr. Reeves asked questions that made them uncomfortable without being combative. "When did this start?" Harmony said, "Second date." Second date. I wanted to throw up. Dr. Reeves then pivoted to Dolores, "Do you use the same tracking methods for other areas in your daughters' lives? Jobs? Friendships?" The sisters' answers were shaky. "We don't track Mom," one said quietly. "That's different." Dr. Reeves asked, "How would you feel if your partner's father and brothers met weekly to discuss your sexual performance?" Tessa blushed. "That's different." She started to cry. That's when Tessa cracked the first real, human thing. She admitted it had exploded in her previous relationship. Her boyfriend saw the sheets and left. That had been 6 months earlier. She'd kept doing the practice anyway. Jocelyn admitted men kept freaking out and she'd been single for 2 years. Dolores doubled down and called men weak. It turned into a mess where the previously confident-looking family started to show small fissures. Dr. Reeves turned to me and asked, "How do you feel about your intimate life being discussed weekly by other people?" "Violated," I said. It was the clearest word I had. After the session they left. Dr. Reeves pulled me aside and said, "This isn't normal." She recommended documentation if things escalated. Good call. Update, the binder, the WhatsApp group, and the invoice. Instead of apologizing, Harmony showed up at my place the next day with a binder. Not a metaphor. An actual 3-ring binder. Titled, Relationship Data, Rationale and Outcomes. She opened it in my living room like it was a portfolio of achievements. "According to our data, you're 73% happier since implementing our suggestions," she read. And then she started citing mood frequency, sexual initiation rates, energy levels. They'd been tracking smile frequency. Smile frequency. She handed me her phone when I demanded to see everything. I scrolled and found a WhatsApp group titled Operation Optimize Oscar. Family and a few extended relatives were in it. There were messages about my childhood, possible abandonment issues, about coworkers I had, yes, liked on Instagram, flagged as risk and addressed, about friends, Marcus explicitly flagged as bad influence, set up with cousin Rita, and about my finances, credit score up 12 points, good. They had been pulling my credit reports quarterly under the pretense of pre-home buying planning. I'd let her set up the monitoring because I trusted her. I found graphs correlating interventions with improvement metrics, e.g., the week they banned cargo shorts slight uptick in date satisfaction. There were treatment plans for my parents, enumerations of child-rearing potential, and even a section titled Genetic Considerations for Descendants. I had to sit down to finish the last page, wedding performance metrics, with subcategories like proposal execution and projected husband scores. On the last line someone had handwritten upgrade ring? Yes/no. Then I started getting texts from numbers I didn't recognize. Aunt Linda, you're being difficult. Cousin Rico, bro, just go with it. Relative after relative forwarded stories about how the system made their marriages better. A pattern, they used family pressure to normalize the system. Then Dolores sent an invoice. A real invoice. Relationship consulting services, $9,873.50 for 3 years of optimization. I sent a one-line reply, counter invoice for unauthorized use of personal data coming soon. Dolores tried damage control on her life coach page and got roasted so hard it basically imploded. People found pages for everyone and left scathing, funny comments. Someone created a Facebook group called Survivors of Spreadsheet Relationships. Reddit ran threads, TikTok remixed the spreadsheets into horror shorts, and an anonymous psychologist wrote an essay on pathological quantification of intimacy using our saga as an extreme case study. Update, legal and personal consequences. Martina used my viral thread as the nudge to finish her divorce. Multiple exes came forward and corroborated similar experiences. A small avalanche formed, a couple of therapists were reported, a boutique quietly closed, a coworker was put on administrative leave, allegedly because company resources were used to help make an invasion of privacy spreadsheet, and Dolores's life coaching practice tanked. Harmony's father, Richard, texted me privately saying he'd left Dolores and was divorcing after 36 years of unseen issues. He said he was sorry, I never knew she would take it this far. I felt a weird pang of sympathy and then blocked him when he suggested I talk to Harmony, she's struggling. Harmony tried one last reach through a mutual friend to get the engagement ring back, it was a family heirloom. Her message to the friend was pleading. I replied, according to my records, you scored a 6 out of 10 for romantic gesture. I'll be keeping my subpar offering. The friend said Harmony screamed so loudly the neighbors called the cops. I laughed, and then felt guilty for laughing, and then reminded myself laughter was allowed. Final update, where we are now. Harmony is single and suspended from work while the HR investigation proceeds. Jocelyn lost her license and went to work in data entry. Tessa moved to another state after her boutique closed. Dolores sells essential oils. Rico's in therapy learning to set boundaries. Martina has full custody and is doing well. Harmony's social circle has radiated outward like a contamination map. I started seeing Pam a few months later. She's normal. She doesn't keep a spreadsheet about my bowel movements, my toothbrush life cycle, or my propensity for leaving cabinet doors open. When I told her the story she laughed until she cried and then said, we split restaurant bills, that is the only spreadsheet in our relationship. We keep life simple. I check under my car for tracking devices as a joke now. Pam laughs every time I do it. Dr. Reeves sent me an anonymized copy of a paper she turned into an academic article titled When Love Becomes Data, a case study in pathological relationship quantification. It now gets referenced in family therapy seminars as an example of what not to do. Dolores tried to sue Dr. Reeves for violating privacy, because Dr. Reeves recorded the session notes. The judge threw it out. You can't claim privacy violation when you voluntarily brought confidential spreadsheets tracking a third party's intimate life to a therapy session. Irony remains undefeated. The best part? The templates people begged me for, yes, people actually asked for the tracking templates, are evidence in Martina's divorce file now. I refuse to hand them out. They're part of court records. Also, no, I won't share Harmony's social media posts, let her live with her choices. I have a moral line and also I'm petty but not cruel. Epilogue, Reflections. I'm not leaving this as a laughable anecdote because I want attention. I tell it because there's a lesson I had to learn the hard way: intimacy doesn't scale well into spreadsheets. People who love you should want to be with you, not to optimize you into a version that fits a color-coded rubric. Love, at its best, is messy and resistant to KPIs. Boundary setting is invisible labor. It's saying I don't want you to pull my private data, and it's about being allowed to be imperfect. If someone's measure of care is data collection, and their first instinct is to weaponize organization rather than ask, that's not love, that's control wearing the mask of support. Also, if your partner's family has a weekly committee about your performance, easy run. If they have multiple spreadsheets, change your name, leave the country, and get a lawyer who will laugh with you and then tell you how to file a subpoena. The ridiculousness turned into real harm for a lot of people. I'm glad I left before it could fossilize into a normalized family ritual, the kind that would have made my future kids' lives a project before they had a say. Victory lap. I owe a lot of credit to Dr. Reeves, my lawyer buddy, Martina for being brave, and the internet for merciless accountability. The community that formed around the meme helped people talk about enmeshment and boundaries in a way no clinician alone could. Sometimes the viral public shame actually helped protect others, which is a weird twist, but there it is. Oh, and one last note for the curious, and no, I will not post the spreadsheets. They belong to a court file now. If you DM me asking for the template, I will block you and replace you with someone who pays their own bar tab. Peace out. If you find a family tracking you in cells and graphs, leave now. If they offer to increase your score, ask for cash. If they ask to move you in with supervised observation, call the cops. If they're still defensive, remember, you deserve people who meet you in messy reality, not in Excel. Edit. Multiple people asked whether I tried couples therapy again without the family present. Yes, I did. In private therapy, Harmony initially defended the system with regret. Over months she acknowledged that she'd normalized something invasive as help. We both learned boundaries literature is not a substitute for consent. She's working on herself, remotely. I checked in once, then ghosted afterwards, and I'm focused on a life where the only spreadsheets are on our tax return and the occasional budget sheet Pam and I use to split rent. That's it. Final edit for the people asking for receipts: yes. Photographs exist. They are in court and with my lawyer. Don't DM me asking for them. If you read the whole thing, thanks. This one needed to be told that way.